Time and everything in its place in time. Don't you wonder if our fathers romped on through salvage yards, junk yards, and now they're called, and they'll yell at you. Well, they did here. Automotive Recycling Facilities. And you never know what you'd find in those cars. I mean, I remember S&H green stamps, but I've never seen war stamps, and I found these in a car. And, about the time you open up the door on the next car on a spring morning, you could be stung in the nose by a wasp. Hell, I've opened up trunks and had what I thought were wolverines or raccoons or something, jump out at me. Man, so you don't know, when you open up a trunk or look in a back seat and you hear a door creaking, just what you're going to find. But the point of this video is to maybe be very cognizant of that, because often as not, any yard that's still around isn't going to be around for very long. And when you find these types of parts, like in this example here, we're looking at some steering wheels, hey, grab them. Because before you know it, they're going to be gone. Here's why, or so I've been told. The EPA has such regulation out there now that only the larger yards, if you will, can survive, and the ones that are on the web. So the little local guys that I used to frequent often as a kid coming up, because I was a wrench all my life and looking for parts for my era cars, will tell me, yeah, there's no profit anymore. It's no fun anymore. This regulation, and I got to jump through this hoop and that hoop. And then about the time you find one dash bezel, before you know it, there aren't anymore, and those are all gone. So the bigger yards went in and hearing that the little yards were leaving and said, hey, we're going to buy you out. And we want this and this and this and this car and number 19 and number 139 and 150, whatever. And they collected those cars. And then those little yards failed, and there was a big cleanup, wasn't there? And then, anyway, the point of the remark is the big yards now literally escort you back and say to you, look you want my dimmer switch, you want my cruise stick, you want my emblem, you want my shift console, you want my bumper filler, you can have all you want, but you got to buy my car to have it. That's crazy. So you don't even get out. They'll literally frisk you and ask you if you have any side cutters. You cut a wire in my yard, you're out of here for life. I'll ban you for life. You touch anything without asking me first, you're out. And if you knew or they know you from years earlier, then maybe, could be an employee that worked at a small yard that's now at a large yard. Yeah, go ahead, go back. Just be careful. And if you see so-and-so, then just act like the perfect gentleman. And I used to do that. But don't be grabbing a horn. Don't be cutting a wire. I'll lose my job. And I'm amazed. And, anyway, never thought that would happen. So I'd rather soon have the raccoon or the wolverine, what a folktale, jump out at me and then realize what's before me. And, look, it's really coming to an end. And even to see a rim or a mag wheel on Craigslist, when you think about it, well, so what? Won't even bring $10. Nobody wants them. So, about the time you look and you find a cluster, for example, like what you're seeing here, well, what are you going to do with that? I don't know, but I just couldn't bear to see it crushed and served no purpose. And I prefaced this before. Cash for clunkers. Pull the rug, putting it kindly, right out from under a lot of us. I remember seeing just myriads of different cars at dealerships. You couldn't grab an emblem. They had guards there all night guarding them. That's just stupid written all over it and didn't make any sense. But, I guess in the end it did follow the money because they got a lot of money when they crushed those cars. So you can't hoard clips anymore for windshield moldings and different things and trim moldings and rocker moldings and fine dash bezels and throw things in boxes and grab handfuls of fuses because now it's all gone. Hell, a fuse today, you can hardly even see it. Yeah, no more headlamp bezels. It just kapow. So go to your yards if you still have them. Look at my opinion here and look for this kind of stuff. And maybe if you see a set of rims, the first thing I always look at is not only the webbing and to somehow try and see if they're true or they've been nicked. And likely, if they're not nicked, they're still true, and you can usually clean them up. And again, if the lug holes aren't all wormed out, they're good rims. but you have to see that the end justifies the means, and sometimes that's a tough order. Yeah, when I was a stupid kid, I look at 4 deadbolts and you could pull the whole back seat out and put the seat back, but I had to have my music, and that's 1980. That's 40 plus years ago. I blame myself. I was a stupid kid. So yeah, I was proud of my car, and I did a repaint on it, and gosh, that's about 1985, and that's a long story. I did a video on that. But the good old days of finding 5 Buick Riatas for $1,000 and nobody wanting them, finding rotten Hearst Olds in the forest. Look those up. Hearst Olds rotten in the forest, and 5 Buick Riatas for $1,000. Couldn't believe it. I even called the Buick Collector Club of America president. Yep, we know all about it. No one wants it. Where you been? I got a call a week ago on that. Unbelievable. No one wants it. So I called my local yards. We told you, we don't want that junk. And they literally hung up on me. Junk? And, anyway, the thought being, I wonder about power seat tracks. Those cars had one on each side. So anyway, back to the point, you can take junk and make it into something that's nice. These are 2 different styles of those webbed wheels for our T-types, T's and Grand Nationals, if that's what you like. And the only thing that's different is the center cap. And yeah, the old matchbook covers, I had this in another video, are always neat. And these are all relegated to the topic of driving and cars and dealerships. When to change your spark plugs, when to change your oil, what oil to use, the different dealers, advertisements, advertising matches, and just, fascinating to look at throughout a lifetime of, again, just looking, picking up things, throwing them in a box and collecting them. So yeah, the fruits of your labor can be fully realized, and if that's what floats your boat. And to one man, it's it's everything, and to the next man, it's what's the old saying? One man's junk is another man's treasure. So I guess it depends then on the individual. But I like taking nothing and making it into something, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. But again, the point of the remark being that our time runneth out here real soon, and it's going to be done. And now we're all, aren't we, fossil fueling sinners driving our fossil fuel cars. So see that the end does justify the means. See potential. Think potential when you see something like this and you see a set of these, and sit down on a nice sunny day and work them, and that little bit of time when you got a little bit of time, and if it's really a true passion, then you'll make the time. And with some memory cloth, you can take something like this and make it into something beautiful, maybe like this, and put them on your ride, and clear them with a matte, a real good matte heat enduring spray finish. That's what I do, and then they last a long time. You can spray chemicals on them, and with ceramic brake linings, you don't much have that problem anymore anyway. So yeah, there are 2 types of these rims that I've seen anyway, and that's the American Racing and then the GM rims. But what's neat is that the tire makers have seen that there's a niche market here. And I always like the Goodyear raised white letter tires, and now that they're available again, I'm starting to put those on. And that they are, because when you get them, they're built, I just got a set, 2021, 2022, made this year. And it's already, the 9th month in 2022. So when you go to find those tires, they're neat. They look nice on these rims. Some things just work and they look right. And to me, this is the perfect example. I just think that this really is the appeal with our cars. And I'm glad that they're being made again. Goodyear did a lot of thinking here, I'm sure, and while they're not 4 for $100 anymore, it's pretty neat to have them, and they're much welcomed. So when you get those out and you put them on even a car that's really good, it just makes it, it just a measure of utter excellence. For example, like a Hearst Olds, I think anyone that you look at, if it has a BF Goodrich tire or maybe a black wall, is in want. And when you put those Eagle GTs on instead of these things that are, everybody's got these. It's that piece of resistance. It's that icing on the cake that makes everything great. And yeah, there that car is. And when I got those, that was the piece of resistance. And boy, did I pour my heart and soul into this car. And yeah, it didn't grab at the heartstrings. I loved to do the process, but when I had it done, I just thought, well, I want to move on. I'm a Buick guy, down to the last blood cell, but I can guarantee you that the guy that bought it is still trying to realize how beautiful it really is, because I did pour my heart and soul in it. And well, all that's said and done, maybe put on your favorite t-shirt. Here's mine. A friend got this for me, and boy, does it sure provoke a lot of reaction. 95% of it's a great reaction. Everybody wants me to turn their back on them, though. Others want to put the knife in my back. And that's what America is. That's okay. But do it in a neat, fun old ride like this. And that's always a fun place to go. And when I'm in this thing and they bring that frosty cold mug of root beer, or I run over to Arby's and get a roast beef sandwich, it's just utter. Oh, you're just embellished in upholstery heaven. Can you imagine that? And look at it. If it ever rained, there was an umbrella for both the driver and the passenger. So there's a good way to end it. Go have a nice roast beef sandwich. Maybe look in your local salvage yards. Appreciate what we had, because soon it's all going to come to an end. All right, there's something else to think about. Take good care. I'm Tommy Z.